Pages that come to life. In the small American town of Greywoods, hidden deep within dense forests, stands an old library. The locals avoid it, as rumors claim the building is cursed. According to legend, any book borrowed from this library could ruin the reader's life. A young woman named Kate, an aspiring writer, returns to her hometown after the failure of her first novel. Seeking inspiration for a new story, she learns about the Greywoods Library. Despite warnings from the locals about its dangers, Kate dismisses the legends. Alone amidst the gloomy shelves, she discovers an ancient book titled Pages of the Beyond. Its pages are written in blood, and its cover is etched with eerie depictions of monsters. Unable to contain her curiosity, Kate takes the book home, unaware that it will be the key to a series of horrifying events. When Kate begins to read, the text literally comes to life. The words on the pages emit a faint red glow, and strange howling sounds echo outside her house. On the first evening, she reads about a monster resembling a giant shadow with sharp teeth that stalks its victims in their dreams. At that very moment, the monster appears in her home and tries to attack but vanishes when exposed to light. Kate realizes that every monster described in the book comes to life as it is read. Determined to learn more, she returns to the library, where she meets the librarian, a peculiar old woman who reveals that the book belongs to an ancient cult that used it to summon creatures from the beyond. Kate attempts to burn the book, but its pages remain unharmed. Instead, the book compels her to read the next story, introducing an even more terrifying monster, a half-human creature with claws that hears every sound. The monster begins to stalk her, and Kate barely escapes by hiding in the library. The old librarian shares a secret. To break the curse, Kate must find the book's missing final page, lost many years ago. It is believed to be hidden in an old mansion on the outskirts of town. Kate ventures to the mansion, unaware that the creatures from the book are watching her. Inside, she finds the missing page, but as soon as she touches it, chaos erupts. All the monsters come to life simultaneously. With no apparent escape, Kate realizes she can rewrite the final page if she sacrifices something precious. In a desperate move, she pens a new ending to the book using her own blood, sacrificing her dream of being a writer. The book vanishes, and the monsters dissolve into nothingness. Kate returns to a normal life but never picks up another book again. She believes the nightmare is over, until one morning, she receives a package with no return address. Inside is another book with the title, Volume 2. Kate stood over the open box, hesitating to touch the book. She remembered the horrors brought by the first book and had sworn never to make that mistake again. But this time, something was different. The pages of the book were sealed with golden chains, and the cover emitted a soft glow. Carved on it were the words, "The only way to escape the curse is to read to the end." Kate hesitated, but she noticed the room had grown noticeably colder. The lights dimmed, and the shadows on the walls began to move. It felt as if the book itself wanted to be opened. When Kate touched the book, the golden chains vanished. Opening the first page, she saw a strange text, "This is the story of you, Kate. A story you cannot escape." The pages began to turn on their own, and the text seemed to come alive. Each word triggered a vision. She saw herself in the future, chased by creatures far more terrifying than those she had already encountered. Suddenly, black hands emerged from the book and pulled her into the text. Kate found herself in a nightmarish world resembling an endless library. Shelves were filled with books that whispered as if alive. Before her appeared a man in a black cloak, his face hidden in shadow. He introduced himself as the keeper of stories. "You have disrupted the balance, Kate. The pages need you to finish their story. But the choice is yours, either you become part of the book, or the creatures will find you in your world." The keeper explained that Volume 2 was a book documenting everything happening in the real world while she was trapped in the other world. If Kate failed to complete her story in time, the book would come alive in her reality, unleashing the monsters into her world. Kate learned that hidden within the library was a book with blank pages, the only one capable of rewriting her fate. But finding it would not be easy. She was hunted at every turn by monsters from the pages of other books. Among them were a faceless man who appeared whenever she read even a single word and a grotesque woman whose legs coiled around the shelves like snakes. Kate eventually found the blank-paged book, but it was guarded by the oldest creature, known as the Archivist. This towering monster had a face made of countless book pages, speaking with many voices as if all who had ever read cursed books had become part of it. The Archivist offered Kate a deal. If she finished the story, she could return home, but she would have to leave part of her soul within the book. Understanding it was her only way to survive, Kate agreed. She took a quill and began to write. Her words destroyed the monsters, one by one. The otherworldly library started to collapse, and Kate found herself back at home. The book now lay before her once more, but with a new inscription. The pages are complete, but the story continues. She noticed something strange. Her reflection in the mirror was different. Her eyes were now black, and the shadows on the walls moved independently of her. It seemed that part of her had truly remained in the other world. The next morning, Kate heard a knock at the door again. Another package. On the box was written, Volume 3. For readers around the world. Kate didn't open the door right away. She stood and stared at the box through the peephole. Instead of the usual delivery person, no one was there. The wind rustled the branches, and an unnatural silence hung over the door. Finally, gathering her courage, Kate opened the door and took the box. She already knew it was another volume. But this time, something felt different. The book seemed to emit a warm, yet sinister glow. The cover was boldly labeled, Everyone will read, everyone will become part of it. When Kate opened the book, her world literally changed. She didn't see text, but a multitude of faces, men, women, children. They all stared directly at her, as if aware of their fate. This time, the book wasn't just telling her story, it was telling the story of everyone who had ever heard or seen anything about the book. Kate learned that Volume 3 was the final stage of the curse, created to break free into the real world. Anyone who touched the book would become part of a story that would never end. Kate understood she had to stop the book before someone else opened it. She sought out the librarian, the only person capable of uncovering the secrets of the cursed books. The old woman revealed that there was only one way to stop Volume 3, find the source of the curse, which was hidden in the place where the first page of the first volume had been written. This place was an abandoned monastery, hidden deep in the mountains far from the town. Kate embarked on a long and dangerous journey. Throughout the journey, it seemed the book was trying to stop her. Shadows grew denser at night, voices whispered her name, and familiar faces acted strangely, as though someone was controlling them. She felt herself growing weaker, but she realized that if she stopped, the book would take everything. Upon reaching the monastery, Kate discovered it was filled with ghosts. These were the souls of those who had fallen victim to the curse before. They tried to warn her, but the book began to open on its own, summoning horrifying creatures to protect the source. At the heart of the monastery, Kate found an ancient altar, where a quill and ink filled with blood had marked the beginning of the curse. She realized that she had to write the final page of her story. But there was a problem. Every word she wrote would become reality. A monster, resembling a giant spider from the previous volumes, appeared to stop her. Kate dodged its claws and managed to write only one sentence, "This story ends here." The world around her began to collapse. The book vanished in flames, and with it, all the creatures, shadows, and curses. Kate woke up at home as if nothing had happened. But when she entered the town, people looked at her strangely, as if they recognized her. In a newspaper she found at a cafe, there was an article about a strange virus spreading through the cities. People claimed they had the same dreams about the old book. Kate realized the terrifying truth. Although the book had vanished, its story still lived in the minds of those who had heard of it. The curse no longer needed pages, it had become a part of human consciousness.